Once, in a quiet village, where the roads were made of dirt and the houses were made of wood, there lived an old man named Turgan. He was not in a hurry. He didn't like noise. He didn't know what a refrigerator was, because no one in the village had ever seen one. Turgan lived alone in a small cottage, at the edge of the woods. Every morning, he woke up just after the sun. He would stretch slowly, sit by the window, and drink warm water with a little bit of honey. Then, he would go outside to check on the meat. Behind his cottage, there was a wooden shed, not very big, not very clean, but it had one important job. Inside, hanging from the beams, was meat. It wasn't fresh, but it wasn't spoiled either, because Turgan knew how to take care of meat. He walked slowly to the shed, step by step. His shoes made soft sounds in the grass. Birds were singing in the trees, not loudly, just gently, the way they always did in the early morning. When Turgan opened the door to the shed, a soft smell came out. It was the smell of smoke, and salt, and old wood. He liked that smell. It reminded him of his father. His father taught him how to preserve meat, many years ago. Turgan touched the meat, not to eat it, just to feel it. He checked if it was still firm, not too soft, not too dry. He nodded slowly. It was good, hanging just right, not too high, not too low. One piece had been salted, rubbed for hours with coarse white grains. Another had been smoked, dark and leathery, but strong. Another was wrapped in cloth and buried in the cool soil behind the house, just in case. He sat on the small wooden stool outside the shed. The sun was rising behind the hills. He watched the light climb down the trees and stretch across the ground. He wasn't thinking of anything special, just sitting, listening to the wind, watching the sky. Later in the morning, he would take a bucket of water from the well. He would slice a piece of the meat, not too big, not too small, and heat it slowly on the old iron stove. There would be potatoes too, maybe onions, if he felt like it. But there was no rush. The day was long, and the food was safe. There was no refrigerator, but that didn't worry him. In the afternoons, Turgan sometimes sat near the smokehouse. He kept the fire going with small pieces of dry wood. Not too much smoke, just enough. The meat liked it that way. At least, that's what his grandfather used to say. And his grandfather had never been wrong about meat. Sometimes, children from the village came to visit. They would ask him, "Why don't you buy a cold box, like the people in the city?" He would smile and shake his head slowly. "Because I trust the salt," he would say. "I trust the smoke. I trust the way things have always been." The children didn't always understand, but they liked to hear him speak. His voice was slow, calm, and deep, like the earth under their feet. When evening came, and the sun disappeared behind the trees, Turgan would bring a small lamp outside. He would sit again, in the same spot, near the shed. The air would grow cooler, the wind would become quieter, and the stars would begin to appear, one by one. He would look up, take a deep breath, and close his eyes. The meat was safe, the night was peaceful, and Turgan, the old man without a refrigerator, was exactly where he wanted to be.